So basically, similar techniques to what we used before. I'm going to go ahead and find that back wall there. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and use this forming tool, because I know this chamber size is going to probably be at least a C, if not a little bit bigger. And this is about the size of the shape that I use for a C-pitched ocarina, so we can always make it bigger if we have to. So the next step would be to go ahead and make the airway. So I'm just going to kind of use this tool to get that started. I talked about using a probing tool to find where you want your airway exit to be, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now looking in there, I'm thinking maybe that's a little bit too low. So I'm going to back out, try to get that up just a little bit higher. I would say that's about a little bit more what I'm looking for. It's about 1/4 of an inch below the top of the ocarina. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with this airway stick here. Compress the wall. Gonna get that coming out good there. Create that burr. Carve that down. Back out. Now I'm going to look through the airway and try to identify approximately where that labium lip needs to be. So I'm looking in there and I see it looks right about there. It's a good spot. So I know that pretty much everything below that can go away. So I'm just going to start removing some of that material. It's kind of nice to get those crumbs to come out if you can, but this clay is still actually fairly soft, and that can make it hard because they're sticky and they want to. So that's that. I'm going to go back in with this tool at this point and just kind of check. You can see it's about, about a 32nd or 3/100ths of an inch big at this point. But I'm thinking for this particular ocarina that might be good. So I'm going to go back in with the airway stick. Instead of shaving at this time, I'm getting down in here and I'm just kind of compressing that right into the stick. So what I'm sensing now is that this clay is still a little bit soft. There's a little crumb that got in the airway, so I want to get rid of that. So I think I'm going to take a second and shoot this with some air. Okay, so I went ahead and shot it with some air, which will help with the stickiness issue of this clay. So I'm going to go back in with that airway again. That's generally feeling a little bit better. I actually shot it with air for about a minute or so. I'm going to push that back through. So what I'm seeing here now is down in here, I think this below the The airway exit, I want to get rid of some of that clay down in there. Cleaning up underneath. Okay. It's looking better. Back in with the airway stick. Press that down a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to take a peek in there. I can see the edge, the start of the edge in there, what's going to end up being the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and make a cut to start to create that labium lip there. With these, I tend to start on one side, go right down to where the airway exit is, swing around, come on up like that, and then on this side I'll do the same thing, go in the other direction. I'm going to go ahead and use this tool to check my tolerances here. It's gotten a little bit big, but I think it's worth, because this is a pretty large ocarina, I think it's worth testing it. Just clean out a little bit down in there, a little bit down in there. That looks good. Check the alignment. I'm just pushing down on the sides here to get that to line up just nice. So I'm going to go ahead and blow in it. It's actually sounding pretty good. Let's see what key it's in. It's saying B flat. So that's a little bit lower than a C, whole step lower. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this with a little bit more air. Okay, that just dried it out a little bit more. The clay was still just a little bit on the sticky side. Some of the refinements I'm going to do here are swiping along that airway exit to get that clay along there compressed nicely. Wiggle that stick a little bit, the airway stick. Bring it back out. Check for crumbs in the airway. Adjust that edge down just a little bit. You can do that either by pushing, or you can get in there with a tool and just kind of push it down lightly. That's all lining pretty good. So let's just go ahead and put our first hole in it. So I think we want to go up from B flat to C. So let's just put one hole in here and see what we get. That's C. I'm going to go ahead and make a bigger hole. So that's the first 4 notes of that scale there. I would go ahead and tune this up similar to what I did on the previous video, but that gives you an idea of an alternative way to make that that fipple shape, the teardrop shape, which again tends to give you a little bit more range. So I think that fipple size sounds pretty good. It's not tuned yet, but that's a good start. So thanks for watching. Bye.